it's hard to figure out where to begin with Bobbie Boat, because as the Upsiders, we often try very hard to create music that makes people feel good, that makes people's days a little bit brighter, and that wasn't necessarily the goal of this song. And it started because two of my favourite artists are Bon Iver and Lucy Rose, both of whom write very sort of emotionally charged music, and often it's quite understated. It's a bit more sort of solemn and serious in its undertones, and as a musician I'm really fond of it.
When she told me, when nobody was around, when she told me, and my whole world came crumbling
So
down.
I wrote this ukulele line and then started telling the story over the top, partially drawn off personal experience of a relationship that begins before one of the people has finished their previous relationship, and all of the problems that like stem out from that, trying to find new love when you haven't moved on from your previous one. And then I combined it with all of this sort of ocean-based or sea-based imagery, and I think that stemmed from the fact that I'm a born and raised Plymouthian. I'm from Plymouth in the southwest, and I have a lot of fond memories of being down on the Barbican and staring out at the ocean and seeing, like, you know, all of these tiny little boats and stuff just bobbing their way through the water, and I find something very calm and tranquil about it, and I wanted that to all come across in this particular song. So even though I was nervous about showing it to Hot Chocolate, I was even more nervous about showing it to the band, because I was almost expecting sort of, you know, a friendly little bit of ridicule, just going, oh my gosh, Callum has written a depressing song. But there wasn't any of that, which was really nice, and it made me realise how very lucky I am to be working with a band of musicians who are very open to the idea of exploring and experimenting with things, even if it's not in our usual bubble, so to speak. So next step is that we took it into the studio, and the process of putting all of the pieces on was actually quite easy in comparison to some of the other tracks on this album. But then we got to the vocals, and I knew that in the vein of like sort of Bon Iver and Lucy Rose, I really wanted a lot of detail and nuance with all the different vocal parts that I had set in. So I reached out to Lydia and Molly, and basically was telling them about sort of, you know, this soft tone, soft kind of vibe of the song, and they just took to it instantly. And I think that they both have a talent of conveying a lot of emotion in the way that they sing. So as soon as we blended in sort of, you know, male and female vocals together, we suddenly got that wall of harmonious sound, which was just, for lack of a better word, gorgeous. So when that first big full harmony hits you in the chorus, I actually was getting like tingles on the back of my neck, because it's so sweet. It's like it's sort of, you know, the auditory version of caramel for me, like having all of these different harmonies all blending together. Recording the vocal lead was a challenge, because I was finding it difficult to get into the right headspace to be able to, you know, sing the vocal line with all of the correct emotion. And it got to the point where Matt basically took control of the session and asked everyone to leave the room, so it was just like me and him recording the vocals. And I sat and I told him like my history in Plymouth and sort of all of the personal events that inspired the song. And then he said that he was going to set the room, and he like he like moved the lights around, we like darkened the space, and we just tried to get the ambience right. And once we'd done all of that, the vocal performance just kind of flowed, and it was one of the most magical musical experiences I've ever had. Just because when you have that moment where you've gone through like loads of takes and you finally hit that right emotional resonance, it's what playing music is all about, really. And I am incredibly grateful to Matt for being able to sort of, you know, bring out the best in me, and being able to bring out, like, you know, the best vocal performance I could deliver, because it just gives the song that heart and that edge, which I hope that people, when they listen to it, will really pick up on.